Trying to find the great cosmic mother. Hold on. There's a chapter. There's a chapter called God as Father, 230. Let's just read a little bit from here. I haven't started this chapter yet. So let's just read it. God as Father. This is the great cosmic mother. Okay? By Barbara Moore. If God is the mother of the universe, then the creation is of the same substance as her. It is of her as the child is of its mother's substance, and this means that the whole creation is divine and divinely related. We should have imagined life as created in the birth pain of God the Mother, and we would understand it. We would know that our life's rhythm beats from her great heart, torn with agony of love and birth. Then we should understand why we, her children, have inherited pain, and we would feel that death meant a reunion with her, a passing back into her substance, the blood of her again, peace of her peace. Human females and males are not equal genetic parents. The female X chromosome is 3 to 4 times longer than the male Y chromosome. It carries the overwhelming preponderance of critical genetic information unrelated to sex needed to create a human being. Further, while only half of the population has a Y chromosome, all of us, female and male, contain an X. It is our primary genetic bond as a species. The female egg, even before it mates with the sperm, generates an electric field that becomes the shaping energy of the embryo as it develops into an independent being. The mother field is both the biological environment and the shaper of form within the environment. These biological facts are also experienced as spiritual facts. But when the cult of male God was established, there must have been difficulty in explaining how he could be the giver of life to all creation, since the man, unlike the woman, cannot produce from his body either the child or for the food for the child. This whole attitude of human towards God had to be altered, violently altered. There could not be the same vital biological and magical link, the I thou, between the child and the father, as there is between the child and its mother. Two beings evolving in and from the same body, the same rhythm, the same dreams. For the religious point of view, that means the loss between the human and the divine of direct, continuous physical, emotional, spiritual relationship. Oneness is dualized. The self is isolated within, and the rest of the universe, including God, is displaced and objectified without. The evolutionary and protoplasmic connection between the experienced self and the all is broken, and the new relation becomes I the other, or worse, I it. The Father is not of the same all containing, all infusing, all shaping, and nourishing substance. And so the relation between human and the Father God becomes abstract and alienated, distant, and moralistic. The abstract God is inorganic, equally inorganic relative to the preceding 300,000 to 500,000 years of communal Stone Age life. Was the rigid class system of royal masters served by slave labor that quickly coalesced around the ruling patriarchal elite. The few can rule the many only with the help of punitive religious ideologies, by means of which the unjust advantage of the few and the raw exploitation of the many are somehow justified by God, by a class theology. And so this new male God must be enforced on the people by the punitive and guilt projecting ideologies of a privileged priesthood. In their writings and doctrines flooding the Bronze Age, creation now comes to be seen as evil. The Creator is above and apart from his creation, and while he is perfect, the world is flawed. And so the idea of original sin can be conceived for the first time to rationalize the unnatural new relation between the human soul and the aloof God. This lays the basis for all further alienated relationships between the people and God, between the people and people, between people and the natural world, between rulers and the ruled. For now, the primary relation is not that we share the same divine substance, but that we share the same material corruption. And the entire priesthood exists to redeem us from the sin of being born from the mother. And to rationalize class disparity by preaching that the new class system is God's design, his method for creating civilized order out of the corruption of chaos of human flesh. For an unjust system to work for any prolonged period of time, it is necessary that the masses of people believe they deserve the injustice. This is why the Father's way in all patriarchal world religions is absolute. So pure it is separable for us and from the world, and it's perceptible only through largely verbal abstractions that attempt to describe his emanations or manifested attributes. He is perfect, good, disembodied spirit, the Logos. He is seen as purely spiritual generation, totally freed from matter, because the priest must insist he is free from the great mother. Having no participation in material processes, it then becomes difficult to explain the existence of death, illness, pain, and decay, since they have nothing to do with God. Rather, it becomes too easy to explain them. Everything is blamed on the corrupt mother and her human children, and her heathenous lover, the devil. It now becomes possible for the Hindu mystic to confuse the goddess time, Maya, with evil on one hand, and with the other, and with the whole natural universe on the other, so making all creation a product of evil while God remains uninvolved. Other ontological dualism, the mind becomes more and more confused by paradox, and to work their way out of their confusion, patriarchal theologians seek abstract escape from the natural world defined as a seductive trap. The world of Maya is called a mere illusion, a veil hiding the true being. And so the Hindu, the Buddhist, and the Christian seek liberation from nature in search of a state of consciousness bereft of all sense experience, nirvana or angelic heaven. It was to create the amaterial floatiness. In fact, the Zen developed out of ancient Taoism to insist on the reality of the real. Alan Watts in Nature, Man, and Woman describes the ancient female way of fusing spirit and matter in non coercive union, a way of flowing along with events, while the same time cooperatively molding them. It is the way of the dance and the unfolding of the planet, animal, and mineral forms, the desire of energy to form itself according to its own rhythms. And some historic point in an aggressive act of self definition, the male mind interpreted this energy, this organic will, as other, and mentally separated himself from it. It became Maya, illusion, evil, mere matter, inferior object, denying and fighting it. Man tries to artificially or ideologically impose his own contrary ego will. In the process, he destroys nature and thereby, for he too is nature himself. In Taoism, it says Tao. There is a thing confusedly formed, born from heaven and earth, silent and void. It stands alone and does not change, goes round and does not weary. It is capable of being the mother of the world. I know not its name, so I style it, quote, that way. I give it the makeshift name of, quote, the great. Being great, it is further described as receding. Receding. It is described as far away, being far away. It is turning back. Tao, it is form which one cannot for a single minute depart. This from which one may depart is not Tao. As the Father God is seen as entirely good, light, and static, like the sun at noon, the Hebrews and Christians had to invent the devil. In the Bible, the Old Testament Hebrews refer to Satan, which means enemy, and any enemy of the Hebrews or a Hebrew god is satanic. Early Christians, who were mostly Hebrew and inheritors of the Hebrew tradition, expanded on this quasi political definition of embodied evil until the devil became the source of all things called evil, of decay, darkness, illness, pain, and death. The Jewish Essenes were one who were evolving Christian concepts 100 years at least before the reputed birth of Christ, also took in many Persian, Zoroastrian concepts and good versus evil as the cosmic battle between light and dark, between the children of light and the children of darkness. And so an extremely dualistic good light versus evil dark ontology was incorporated as a rational framework of Christianity, which an aloof cloud dwelling God represented all that is good and light, while a very busy world hugging devil represents all bad dark stuff. Once Christians had invented this monster, they became totally obsessed with the invention of theirs. Fanatically obsessed with the devil is the curse of those who have abandoned the goddess. So now the devil is protected on half of the world as the other by the crazy half that considers itself good. Islam inherited the same biblical tendency towards dualism and the devil projection, and has historically elaborated on it also. Under these religious systems, half of life is seen as the enemy of life and is no longer experienced as an inherent and organic part of the life process. In patriarchy, the matter character of the symbol Matera is devalued. Matter is no longer revered as a foundation substance of the world of growth and experience. Matter is no longer intuited as the evolutionary phenomenon, as a form of spirit energy, as a potentia of consciousness. Matter is now a stupid dark female despised as something of inferior value in contrast to the male ideal. In Muslim and Christian doctrine, matter has become inert, wholly negative, demonized, and hostile to spirit. In a female world, as opposed to the divine spirit heaven that males are born to inherit. In the Industrial Revolution, however, the rise of science as the dominant patriarchal religion or mind technology, an iconic crossover occurred. Without canceling out the early negative associations, materialism became the dominant and manly ideology, while spirituality is co-signed to an increasingly ethereal, irrelevant peripheral sphere of being, the afterworld, or feminine vapors. But still, matter is viewed as dumb and inert. Materialism does not glory in matter, but in the male's ability to manipulate it. The new materialism is machine worship and product worship, not the vital, ecstatic celebration of spirit and matter that characterize the goddess religion. The current thrust of materialism is the escape of Earth's orbit, to flee the knowledge and the problems of our messy, bloody, hungry, and waste producing bodily origins, to dwell on wholly sterile and man made stations in space, where the astronaut, the modern priest of technophalic religion, realizes his ancient dream to utterly escape the earthly processes the rest of us remain wallowing in. In the patriarchal heaven of the Hebrew Kabbalah, the world tree lost its paradox. It began to be pictured as one sided, with its roots above in the sky only. The earth side of process, the life, the illumination is utterly negated, not there. Interesting enough, according to Marisha Aladi in his study of shamanism, modern day male shamans worldwide rarely undertake the journey to the underworld common in old times. They have come to fear and avoid the realms of the living dead, of magic darkness, and necessary worms as a domain of the Dark Mother. They eschew it. Instead, they concentrate on the journey to the sky, which involves considerable prestige for the shaman, being a trip into the home of the celestial patriarch, the big clean father in the sky. Anti earth, anti natural symbolism is distinctly related to religious dualism. From it rises a purely abstract worldview, as in mathematics, in which the man made symbols are not comprehended as part of a larger reality. They are comprehended as reality. Dualism is a spectator sport, not one wholly involved in an ongoing life process can conceive of it in dualistic terms or objectify the experience. Dualism first arose among men who were functional spectators of life created by women. They were the male priesthoods, men who did not give birth to creatures who would experience both ecstasy and pain and who would die. Men whose life self appointed task was the uninvolved organization and manipulation of life into abstract and systematic terms for the sake of secular control and power. Male priesthoods are characterized by their dogmatic attempts to control a process they do not themselves as spectators participate in. Such mechanical, anti natural, remote control concepts of life have choked the springs of the living waters. The patriarchal Kabbalistic world tree with roots exclusively in the sky, wholly cerebral and unreal, to erase the earth side of the spiritual equation is to degenerate the equation. To deny the earth roots of the world tree is to deny the serpent roots of the spine. And indeed, the biblical Hebrews set themselves against the serpent. In doing so, they were deliberately opposing the Kundalini powers of the spine, the sex chakra, and the ancient brain stem. And so the Father God becomes both anti sexual and anti revolutionary. Anti evolutionary. This is our grotesque situation today. And an anti-sexual God is now worshiped as a creator of life. And whenever you find a puritanical God, you find also the pornographic God, for the human mind will strive for balance. And an anti-evolutionary God is now worshiped as the goal of human progress, to be achieved not by organic growth of consciousness, but by worship of developmental machine programs and technology. The immortality promised by the moon goddess was not a state of perfection or stasis in eternal light. She offers an ever renewed life like the moon's own, in which diminishing and dying are as essential to spirit's growth as birth and becoming. Her redemption is not from sin and matter, but from mental traps that block the self from its source. It is the union of opposites within the psyche which brings release from the final power of death, which allows consciousness to pulsate from one dimension to the other in the cosmic field. This is the only redeeming experience to be lived by an inner presence, the creator behind the ego. That was a whole chapter. I just had to go for it. I think that we can end on that. And you can see that this shit is upside down. This shit is upside down, inside out, contradictory. That's why when you talk to the men and the women who are male centered, Father God looking up in the sky and shit, instead of planting their feet on the ground, on Mother Earth, rejecting the mother, but then blaming her in this society for everything that is wrong and overlooking the man and his creation. And then using religion, using your faith, the thing that you believe in, sight unseen, and that faith tell you there's something wrong with the way that you exist. When you come from mother and mother loves you, both, all of you, how you show up, it doesn't matter. Trans, cis, straight, black, white, red, yellow, green, purple, polka dot stripe. It doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. But when you are in a system that is either or, either or, either or, good, evil, this, that, Republican, Democrat, it's just man, woman, it's just nothing in between. That's by design. I only have two options, the lesser of two evils. Anyways, I gotta go. I didn't roll I'm gonna roll some weed up, go outside. I don't usually make videos on Saturday, so this is a treat. Anyways, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Go get the great cosmic mother, men, women, non-binary people. If you are operating male-centered, Father God, all of that patriarchy bullshit, when you start reading this book, it literally feels like you remember, like, oh, you're right. This book is going to tell you everything that you've been taught is a fucking lie, bro. And that there's references. So the book is full of references. So you can go look yourself, right? Instead of just believing a book, which is why you're in the position you're in now. You just believe this book and believe that this man is the key to your salvation. A man is a key to your salvation? I'm sorry. Are you for real? Hold on. You telling me a man is a key to my salvation? What? Here are all the notes. Hold on. Here's the notes. Here's the bibliography. Here's the bibliography. Here are the notes. And then, of course, the index at the end. But yeah, do your book got this? No, your book don't got no fucking, you don't have no goddamn, you can't go back nowhere and look and see, oh my God, they switched everything. They put everything upside down. And now they want to control our bodies. And then after they control our bodies, if we produce a child for them, we're slapping their names on it and calling it tradition. Anyways, y'all, I gotta go. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the, I thought I saw a card in here. Oh no, it's the Dark Virgin Mother Guadalupe. This is just a picture. I thought it was a oracle card in here, because sometimes I use an oracle card as a bookmark. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.